Good morning, students. Welcome back to our class. In last class, we have discussed about blood vessels of the heart. Hope that you have studied. Which are the blood vessels of the heart? The heart contains vena cava, pulmonary artery, and pulmonary vein. Vena caves are two types. Vena cava are two types. They are the superior vena cava and inferior vena cava. They bring deoxygenated blood from different parts of the body. And pulmonary vein, they are the largest vein which bring oxygenated blood from the right and left lungs to the heart. And pulmonary artery, they takes deoxygenated blood from the heart to the lungs. Okay. And next is aorta. Aorta is the largest artery which brings oxygenated blood from the heart to different parts of the body. So we discussed about these all. Next is blood circulation. There are two types of blood circulation seen in the human body. In human body, two types of blood circulation are seen. Which are they? They are the pulmonary circulation and systemic circulation. The two types of blood circulation seen in human body are pulmonary circulation and systemic circulation. What is meant by pulmonary circulation? Pulmonary circulation means that is the circulation of blood. The circulation of blood between the heart and lungs. The blood circulation between heart and lungs is the pulmonary circulation. So what happens or what is the process taking place in pulmonary circulation? So in this pulmonary circulation, blood flows from right side of the heart to the lungs. We have seen that, we have studied that right side of the heart contains deoxygenated blood and left side of the heart contains oxygenated blood, isn't it? Okay. So, in pulmonary circulation, the blood flows from a right side to the lungs for oxygenation. The right side of the heart contains deoxygenated blood, isn't it? So, from this side, from the right side, the blood is taken into the lungs for oxygenation. What is meant by oxygenation? The addition of oxygen into the blood. From the lungs, carbon dioxide is removed and that is carbon dioxide is taken by the lungs and oxygen is added to the blood. So that addition of oxygen into the blood is called oxygenation. So from the lungs, oxygenation takes place. Okay. So from the right side, we know that right auricle receives. So here diagrammatic representation of pulmonary circulation is given. Just you see, this is right auricle. This shows the heart chambers. This is a right auricle and this is a right ventricle. Okay, from right auricle, deoxygenated blood which is opens into the right auricle, and from the right auricle it reaches into right ventricle, and from the right ventricle through the pulmonary artery, that deoxygenated blood reaches into the lungs. It reaches into the lungs. Clear this one? Okay. So from right side of the heart, that is first from right auricle, the deoxygenated blood that flows into right ventricle, and from the right ventricle that deoxygenated blood through the pulmonary artery reaches into the lungs for what purpose? For purification. That is oxygenation. That you clear? Okay. You know that a right auricle receives deoxygenated blood from different body parts, from upper part and lower part, through the superior vena cava and inferior vena cava. Already we have studied it. Okay. And from the right auricle blood, deoxygenated blood reaches into the right ventricle, and from the right ventricle the deoxygenated blood is carried to the lungs for oxygenation by the pulmonary artery. By the pulmonary artery. Okay. And oxygenated blood from the lungs. So in the lungs, what happens? Oxygenation takes place. Okay, so that oxygenated blood from the lungs, that oxygenated blood is taken by the pulmonary vein. Is taken by the pulmonary vein. Okay, so that pulmonary vein carries the oxygenated blood from the lungs to the left auricle, and from the left auricle it flows into left ventricle. Okay, clear? Once more. So in the lungs, deoxygenated blood reaches through the pulmonary artery, isn't it? And oxygenation takes place, that is addition of oxygen into the blood. And from the lungs, that oxygenated blood is taken by the pulmonary vein. So pulmonary vein carries this oxygenated blood to the heart. To which side of the heart? Left side. So first to the left auricle, and from the left auricle to the left ventricle, and from the left ventricle that is pushed or forced to the aorta. So here see in this diagrammatic representation you can see that from the lungs that oxygenated blood it passes through the pulmonary vein and it opens into the left auricle, and from the left auricle it reaches into the left ventricle. Okay, clear? So this is one type of circulation. Okay, so in this circulation, only that blood exchange or blood transports from the heart to the lungs. Okay, from the right side to the heart to the lungs, and from the lungs to the heart again. So that is the pulmonary circulation. Okay, so once more, pulmonary circulation, it transports blood only between the heart and the lungs. Okay, so that transportation is called pulmonary circulation. Okay, clear? Okay, listen once more. So blood circulation are two types. They are pulmonary circulation and systemic circulation. So pulmonary circulation, that the blood transports between the heart and lungs. So first, the deoxygenated blood from different body parts, the upper part and lower part, which is carried by the superior vena cava and inferior vena cava, and it opens into the right auricle. Okay, so from the right auricle, the deoxygenated blood flows into the right ventricle, and from the right ventricle through the pulmonary artery, that deoxygenated blood transports or it passes into lungs. Okay, so from the lungs, oxygen is added to the blood, that is oxygenation takes place. So that oxygenated blood from the lungs is taken by pulmonary vein. So pulmonary veins carries oxygenated blood from the lungs to the left side of the heart. First to the left auricle, and from the left auricle to the left ventricle. So this circulation is called pulmonary circulation. Okay, students, clear? Okay, so I have to study this thoroughly. Okay, this is the pulmonary circulation. Okay, and next is systemic circulation. Next type of circulation is blood circulation is the systemic circulation. In this type of blood circuit, oxygenated blood from the left side of the heart is distributed to all parts of the body through aorta. We know that left side of the heart is filled with is contain oxygenated blood. So after the pulmonary circulation, the left side of the heart is filled with the oxygen rich blood. So that oxygenated blood is it is taken by or that is with the help distributed to all parts of the body through the largest artery called the aorta. Okay, except lungs. So from the from the left ventricle, oxygenated blood transports to or distributes to different body parts except lungs. Okay, so this circulation of blood is called systemic circulation of blood. This is the systemic circulation of blood. Okay, so systemic circulation means in the systemic circulation that from the left side of the blood, from the left side, here see this is the left side. So left auricle and left ventricle. From the left side, that is mainly from the left ventricle, the oxygenated blood reaches into or transport or distributed to different body parts through the aorta. So it is pumped to aorta and from aorta to different body parts. Okay, so the arteries are branches are there. So through that arteries, this shows arteries going to the upper part of the body, that is mean to head, and this shows the artery is which gives or which transfers the blood to lower part of the body. Okay, so this shows that this is the systemic circulation. Okay, so we know that from the that is superior vena cava, from the head, the superior vena cava, they carries deoxygenated blood to the right auricle, and also from the lower part of the body, that inferior vena cava distributes or so they collect the deoxygenated blood from the lower part of the body and which opens into the right auricle. And from the right auricle, it reaches into right ventricle, and from the right ventricle, that deoxygenated blood goes to the lungs for purification. Okay, that is done. That circulation is the pulmonary circulation. Okay, so in systemic circulation, what happens? That is, which are the organs involved in systemic circulation? The organs involved in systemic circulation are that is the circulation between heart and the entire body. Heart and the entire body except the lungs. Okay, so that is a systemic circulation. Okay, so systemic circulation transfers blood between the heart and the entire body. Okay, clear? So systemic circulation means that is in this type of circulation, oxygenated blood from the left side of the heart is distributed to all parts of the body except the lungs. Okay, so this circulation is called the circulation between the circulation of blood from the left side of the heart, from the heart to different parts of the body is called systemic circulation. So in systemic circulation, the heart and the entire body is involved. Okay. In this process, the oxygenated blood from the left auricle is pushed into the left ventricle, and from the left ventricle, that blood is pumped into where? The blood is pumped into aorta, which is the largest artery. So the blood is pumped into aorta, and from the aorta, different branches are there, and the different arteries are there. Through that arteries, that oxygenated blood reaches into different body parts, except which organ? Except lungs. Okay. The deoxygenated blood from all parts of the body is collected by two major veins. Which are the two major veins? They are the vena cava. Which are the vena cava? They are the superior vena cava, which collects the deoxygenated blood from the head, that is the upper parts of the body, and inferior vena cava, which collects deoxygenated blood from the lower parts of the body. Okay, so which is poured into this deoxygenated blood from different body parts, which is collected by the superior vena cava and inferior vena cava, are poured into which part of the heart? Is poured into right auricle, and from the right auricle to the right ventricle and from there to the lungs. So that is the pulmonary circulation. Okay, again the pulmonary circulation starts. Then systemic circulation. After that again pulmonary circulation and systemic circulation. So the blood keeps on passing alternatively. The blood keeps on passing alternatively between these two circuits. Which are the two circuits? Pulmonary circuits and systemic circuits. As long as the person lives. So, as long as the person lives, the two types of circulation that takes place alternatively. First is the pulmonary circulation and next is the systemic circulation. Did you understand this? Okay. So, pulmonary circulation means it is a circulation between the heart and the lungs, and in systemic circulation, that is the circulation which transports blood between the heart and the entire body. Okay, students, clear? Okay, listen once more. So, the blood in human body, two types of circulation, blood circulation is that are pulmonary circulation and systemic circulation. Okay, so in pulmonary circulation, blood flows from the right side of the heart to the lungs through the pulmonary artery. And from the pulmonary artery, the blood reaches into the lungs and oxygenation takes place from there. Okay, and from the lungs, the oxygenated blood is taken by pulmonary veins, which opens into the left auricle, left side of the heart, first to the left auricle, then to the left ventricle. So this circulation is called pulmonary circulation. This is the pulmonary circulation of blood. Okay, and the second circuit is the systemic circulation. Okay, so in this circuit, oxygenated blood from the left side of the heart is distributed to all the body parts except lungs. Okay, and here from the left auricle, the oxygenated blood which is brought by the pulmonary vein opens into the left auricle, and from the left auricle it reaches into the left ventricle, and from the left ventricle it is pumped into the aorta, and from the aorta it distributes to different body parts through the different arteries, the branches of the aorta, the different arteries. Okay, some arteries carries this oxygenated blood to the upper part of the body, and other arteries they carries this oxygenated blood to the lower parts of the body except lungs. Okay, so this is the systemic circulation. So both these circulation, this pulmonary circulation and systemic circulation, that takes place alternatively. Okay, so and this goes on, this process goes continuous process. It is the continuous process. Okay, that is these two circuits they continuous as long as the person lives. Okay, students, understood? So which are the two types of circulation? They are the pulmonary circulation and systemic circulation. This is very important. You have to study the two types of circulation. You have to study today itself. You have to study. Okay, hope you understood. We can see you next class. Thank you.